Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for watching Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to come home with you in the afternoon. Speaking of somebody coming home with us, AP is coming home with us in the afternoon, too. AP Steadham, he's a talk show host, has his own show, and he is also a sports enthusiast, if I may say. How are you doing today, AP?
Hey, Donna, thank you so much for having me on the show. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we're on here every Friday at 4 p.m. Central, IC Radio, AP and Kelly as we see it, and we have a lot of fun, and it's been great. We thank you so much for hosting us, and we always enjoy our visits with you as well.
Well, absolutely. It's always a fun ride. Also on channel 182 on Charter Communications, you got a big fan base here in the North Alabama.
Oh, that's great. I love it. And I always really appreciate the questions that they send to us.
Yeah, well, we've got a few. You want to start off with a few questions?
That'll be great.
Okay, Ron sent a question. And so I wrote some of these down because I don't know, I'm not that computer person, you know what I mean? So anyway, this will be a much faster process right here. So Ron has a question, and it's about the Alabama football schedule this year. He said, do you feel like that they're making it a harder schedule this year?
Well, actually, yeah, if you look at the schedule, Donna, that's a great question. Thank you for the question. You know, they're playing Texas at home. That's a return game from last year. That's a 2-game series. You know, Texas was in the Big 12. They're still in the Big 12, being the SEC next year. But the home games, the tougher ones, will be in Tuscaloosa for Alabama, Tennessee in October, LSU in November. Auburn's on the road. Arkansas and Ole Miss are home. I think Mississippi State's on the road. A&M is on the road. So that's a tough game. But really, when you think about it, from last year's perspective, historically, the two teams that beat Alabama, Tennessee and LSU, will be home games for Alabama.
Mm-hmm. You've always got that hometown advantage, you know, because I mean, I just think the crowd roars louder, you know, for that team. I think it makes it easier.
Yeah, it's a consideration when we were factoring the point spread. I know the folks that arrange those things, they take into consideration the home crowd for sure, and you should play better at home. It's just I think, if not consciously, subconsciously, you're more relaxed.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think so too. I think it has something to do with the brain. And he had a part B question, and the part B is who actually sets up the schedule. Right.
Yeah, that's a combination of the league, the Southeastern Conference, and the teams themselves. The athletic directors, they've arranged the non-conference schedule, which in the SEC, you're playing 8 games at the moment, 8 conference games at the moment. And then you have the 4 non-conference games. And usually some teams, they'll probably try to play one other Power 5 team. Mm-hmm. Most of the teams do in the SEC try to play one other Power 5 team. You can go through the list. I mean, Vanderbilt's playing Wake Forest. Kentucky plays Louisville. That's their rival. Florida plays Florida State. Alabama's playing Texas this year. Auburn's playing Cal. Georgia plays Georgia Tech. Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Ole Miss will be playing Tulane. They're not a Power 5 team, but they're a very good team. As we saw, they're the Cotton Bowl champs. They beat USC from the West Coast last year. They're the greatest victory. Mississippi State will host Arizona this year. That's a return game for them. Texas A&M is playing Miami. Going through the schedule. Arkansas, I believe, hosts BYU. That's a Power 5 team, but they're a very good program through the years. Let's see if we missed anybody. South Carolina plays Clemson. Missouri plays Kansas State. And did we leave anybody out, Don? I'm trying to think. I think we have everybody on that list we went through.
I think so. You got Georgia. You got Georgia, by the way, is quite the powerhouse.
Yeah, Georgia. They're the team that's favored to win the national championship, favored to win the Southeastern Conference. I'm trying to think. Tennessee. I'm trying to recall their schedule down at Tennessee. Another team that they schedule non-conference. I can't remember at the moment, but I think that's the only school we didn't mention. I believe Tennessee. went through the whole list. Yeah. So
One great
it's the
thing
athletic
about being
directors. Yeah, it's Southeast Conference. Yeah.
One great thing about being my age is I've seen them come and go. I've seen the ones at the top go to the bottom go to the top. So, I mean, it's just really,
Yeah.
it's basically a cycle, isn't it? You know, when you get new players, they have to be trained, you know, all these things have to happen, factors, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, you get a new coach, you get
Yeah,
new
that's always,
athletic directors, new players. Yeah, it could happen. You could have a dip in a program. We've seen it from schools, powerful schools, not only in the Southeastern Conference but across the country.
mm-hmm.
And of course, the fan base is what determines if you're going to have a good program many times down because they're not satisfied. So they keep pushing, hiring coaches, firing coaches, lending more financial support. I mean, they're going to push and prod until they have a representative football team that is winning and going to a major bowl games or competing to be in the college football playoff. And we know next year, 12 teams in the playoff. That's going to be a lot of fun, Donna. And I'm interested to see that. Donna, I wanted to bring that up now that you mentioned a few of these things. Next year, when they have the 12-team playoff, is there going to be some upsets? Some teams that we never thought would even have a chance to play for
I think
a
so.
college football national championship. Will there be some upsets, and how will that affect people's mindset? And I say the people, I mean the recruits, looking down the road saying, you know, I don't have to go to one particular school that I thought would be my only chance to be in the college football playoff. I can go to this XYZ school who's not noted for being a powerhouse, but they need a few more players. Maybe they can change the fortune of that program forever.
Mm-hmm. I see that. Absolutely. You know, you've got another question right here, and this is from Kelly, not your Kelly, but another Kelly. She spells her name Keli.
Okay. Different spelling,
and she
correct.
has a question about when COVID hit. You know, there are a lot of
Yes.
lessons that had to be learned. And so her question is that another possibility of COVID or something like that now being affected in the schedule? Do they kind of allow, you know, just what if there's another outburst of something else? Are they factoring that possibility in?
Well, there's always a contingent plan. Usually, all these
I would think so.
administrators and leaders, yeah, they have to have a plan, Donna, because we see what happened with
What if?
COVID, and it changed the fortunes of all the college football programs. The SEC, their plan was just to play SEC schools. They played 10 games against SEC schools, so all the non-conference games, they had to rearrange. So yeah, there was some really good ball games that were going to be played. I think Alabama was supposed to play USC. I think at one time during that COVID period, they had that game did not take place, so that was a big loss for both schools. But everybody adjusted, and that's what they came up with to play within their conference, the SEC.
We're Americans. We know how to adjust. I mean,
Audible.
really, you just have to jump through those hurdles and make it
Right.
work. And I hate to
Right.
say this, but COVID is probably the best thing that ever happened to my show. I mean, I've been able to get out and explore and go, you know, and do other things, and you have too. So, you know,
Yes.
for broadcasters, I think it's been pretty good for us. I mean, I hate to say that, but
Right. Yeah. So
But it
yeah,
really
we always try to circulate, Donna. We always try to circulate. I'm still actually in California, Donna. I'll be back this week though.
so what are you doing in California?
Well, Donna, I had a chance. Our last show, we had a guest on the show. His name was Bear Bachmeyer. He's a class of 2025 quarterback, and he's been offered by a number of schools: Alabama, Michigan, Notre Dame. I think it's 20 plus at this point. He's only entering his junior season, but when you've been offered by all those top programs, that means he's highly sought after and coveted. But I did get a chance to meet his family out here. We visited on Sunday. It was a lot of fun, and it's an interesting family. Down, you'd love him because his brother Hank is transferred from Boise State, where he threw for 5,000 or 6,000 yards as a quarterback. He'll be playing at Louisiana Tech, and Louisiana Tech they actually plays against Jacksonville State in Alabama this year, later on in the season. So he's a very good quarterback in his own right. And then his brother, whose name is Tiger will be a freshman wide receiver at Stanford. And then Bear is, as I said, a junior college quarterback from the state of California, class of 2025. And they have a younger brother. His name is Cougar. They call him Buck. And then their sister is a decathlete athlete at the University of the Redlands. So the athletic family. But it was fun to meet them in person after we did the interview. So, but I was out here to visit some family and some other meet up with some people as well.
That's pretty cool. Jax State had a pretty good run a few years ago. It was back in the 1980s, I believe, and the national championship. Right. Coach Burgess, was out there.
Right. Yeah, they've had their moments. Jacksonville State, they sure have had their moments in their history of football. They sure have. Mm-hmm. So people want to watch a pretty good quarterback coming in. Hank Bachmeier, Louisiana Tech, will be at Jacksonville State later on this season.
Mm-hmm. Tennessee, the football team there has had its ups and downs, most definitely, but it's on its way up. So what are you thinking? And I can't even think of his name. The coach, he's from Fife, Alabama, and now he's going to be with Plainview. Because it was
Jeremy Pruitt.
Jeremy Pruitt. Yeah, Jeremy
okay.
Pruitt. So he's actually going to be with high school football.
Right.
What do you think his thoughts are on that? I would think, Plainview should be really lucky to have him there.
Well, he's in a predicament, Donna, where that's an option for him. So he likes to coach football, and it's at a completely different level, of course, but he wants to remain in the game and keep his skills sharp. So I've seen coaches in the past from college and even pros coach in high school because they love the game so much.
That's the way it is. You get a drive for something, that's your ambition. It really doesn't matter where you're coaching. You get to coach. Yeah.
It's the same instruction. It's a little more, I would say, in depth because some of these players, it's maybe the first time you're teaching them a technique. So you're just
think
not
about what a bonus that is. You are playing football for Plainview, and you get this guy for a coach. That's a huge bonus.
I would think it's an advantage. I would be asking him a lot of questions if I was a player on that team. I would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's a pretty awesome guy. We're glad to have him back home. We're going to have to go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there.
You've been at this for 12 years. Why are you doing it? Because God's children are not for sale.
Rated PG-13.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant, with proven success. Call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdy.lawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. We are back. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We're syndicated there. And also our podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. And AP, I didn't tell you this, just happened in just a couple of weeks. We're going to be with another podcast as well. So we're really happy about this expansion. Yeah. We are really appreciating that. And we appreciate our sponsors as well, because the sponsors, without you, we couldn't have it. But we also have the best listener base ever. These guys are absolutely the best. And AP is one of the best too. I'm just going to tell you, he's right up there. And so we do air his show, AP and Kelly, as we see it on Fridays at 4 p.m. Central Time, by the way. So who was your guest last week, and who's going to be this coming week?
Yeah. Our guest last week was Bear Bachmeyer, a quarterback from California who's coveted by schools across the entire nation. And he comes from an athletic family, so we had a couple of segments with him, and he told us how he received that name, and then he wears a special number down it, something completely different that you don't see a quarterback wear. And he told us that story as well. So listen in. So yeah, this week, Don, I'm not sure who we're going to have, but we're working on those guests right now. But it will be, as always, discussing the Southeastern Conference, because Donna, the seasons, they're arriving for their camps right now, all the teams. So they're getting ready. I mean, the football is in the air. It's August now. So it's the start of the season, the practices.
Football is always in the air here. I mean, it's just, it never leaves.
You're right. You're right about that. You're right. Yeah. We've
got another question for you. And this is from Angie. And she said her son was a kicker in high school football in Plainview. So she wants to know, what advice would you give her son? He's planning on going to college, would like to be a kicker in college as well.
Would like to be a kicker, right? I would say this. Number one, a kicker is doing the same thing mostly every time. I would say mostly every time. So you want to have a routine, whether it's you're counting your steps out, you're thinking the thoughts of the ball going through the uprights every time. That's all that's on your mind. You're able to focus in, and somehow in your mind, you can't hear the crowd. I know that's a difficult thought, but you're just thinking about the snap, the hold, kick, and the timing. It's all rhythm. It's all rhythm when you kick the ball and the placement of your foot on the ball. And I've heard, Donna, that a kick from, let's say, around 35 to 40 yards is the same strength. You're just using the same strength for an extra point or a field goal from 35 to 40 yards. And then after that, maybe you're using more force to successfully kick the field goal. But I would say mentally, your son has to be very strong. I would say always kick with a lot of loud noise around. So you get in the habit of, it's in the background. It's in the background. I can't hear it. I'm not concentrating on the noise, but I'm concentrating on the snap, the hold, and the kick. And try to get as strong as a leg as you can and flexible. And then I don't know who his coach is, for kicking, but I would try to watch some videos and learn and just pick up any little idiosyncrasies that the successful kickers have in college or in high school or in the pros. But practice, perfect practice. I'll just add that, perfect practice. And like I said, always try to have some type of simulation of crowd noise. Because then after a while, it's just natural. That's part of it. The noise, the snap, the hold, the kick. Those things. You become aware of all that. And as far as reaching out to colleges, you can be proactive. They're going to see you can send the video to the different special teams coach, and you're trying to be consistent from 40 yards in. That's your start, I think. If you can be consistent from 40 yards in, maybe you can't hit the 50-yard field goal, but a coach is always looking for somebody that's consistent from the 40 yards in. And then over time, you get a little bit stronger. You reach beyond the 40, and maybe someday, and maybe he's already there. He's hitting the 50-yard kicks. But I would say study your technique from 40 yards in, and then you have to have, I've heard from different various kickers through the years, it's slightly different from 40 yards and beyond. So come up with those two ways and techniques to kick from 40 yards in and then beyond 40 yards.
Angie also states he watches a lot of YouTube videos, like old classics and stuff like that. Who would you recommend as a mentor for him?
For the kicking, older, right?
Yeah, either past or future, present.
Yeah, for kicking.
Well, who's your favorite kicker of all time?
Of all time, yeah, nobody ever asked me that question. I'm trying to think myself.
There's been a lot of good ones throughout the years.
Favorite kicker. I remember a kicker. You had the Carlson brothers at Auburn. They were very good. I remember a kicker from Alabama, Philip Doyle. I remember they beat Tennessee years ago when Alabama had not beat them. It was 1990, Coach Dolan's first year, and it was a defensive game. It was just field goals the entire game down. Imagine that. We saw Alabama, Tennessee last year, 52-49, right? This game was, the final scrubbly was 9-6, and Philip Doyle, I think it was a 47-yard field goal he hit in Knoxville, Tennessee. And he was an All-American kicker at Alabama. I mean, there's been so many, Donna. I really don't have a favorite. I'd have to think about that because there's so many of them. I just never thought about it. But Philip Doyle, if you go back and watch that kick, that was pretty amazing because it was the last play of the game. Both teams were struggling offensively. It was a defensive battle, 9-6, big rivalry. Alabama was struggling in Coach Dolan's first year, and he made that 47-yard kick, and people will remember it forever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you always remember the kicker, and I really didn't think that much about it until one time I was interviewing you, and you mentioned the kicker sometimes as the hero.
Oh, they're important. I'm always looking at kickers. I mean, I may not remember their name, but I remember that they make a lot of field goals, or the percentage, or they can make it from beyond 50, that record. But I would say he should pick out somebody that he feels if he wants to emulate a style. I mean, pick out a kicker that resembles his style, if there's such a thing as style in kicking.
It'd be your style. And then the weather has a lot to do with it as well. You have to really practice in case there's a wind, I would think, because you could be in a windstorm and
Right. You're right, Donnie. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that point. I forgot to mention. So let's say there's a day that's really windy or rainy. Get out there and try to kick and see what's the difference for you and how you can make the field goal. How do you have to kick the football when it's raining, when it's really windy, and testing the wind? You might have to hit it to the right to get it to go left, because the wind is moving from right to left. So how much differential is it than you normally if you're kicking a field goal when the wind is blowing right to left, or the wind is coming at you? So try all types of weather situations. That's a good point, Donna.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Troy had a question too, and this is about some of the players who sometimes get in trouble with drugs. So how does the coach adjust to a situation like that happening on his team? Don, if it's affecting the performance, we're going to have to do something. Probably have to sit out the games and seek treatment. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's just, let's say you're caught with drugs and it's not affecting the performance, I'm not one to suspend the player. I don't like to suspend the player because you're affecting the team. The team is depending on you. And so the team is going to suffer because you were caught with the drugs. There'll be a punishment. I'll have a punishment for you, but I'll keep you on the team. But you will know, and you will feel the pain and consequences of getting caught with illegal drugs. Mm-hmm. How would Coach Paul Bryant, how would he take care of a situation like that these days?
Yeah, he had a number of ways, Don. He might have that player for 2 straight months wake up very, very early and go to a kitchen and feed people who are homeless or something. He'll have them perform a task that is very difficult, and it'll be over and over again. So that person's mind every morning when they wake up, I'm here because my behavior was incorrect. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to change the behavior. That's the goal. It's a form of punishment, sure, but you're trying to change the behavior and let them understand that you cannot pursue this course and activity because it'll be the downfall of you personally.
I think that's why he was so successful. He was almost like your father, your grandfather.
Oh, yes.
And the players, all of those guys, when they would talk about Coach Paul Bear Bryant, it was always even though he was strict as they come, there was just, he helped them with their lives and with their careers, whatever they were doing in life. They remembered all of the things he said. And I think that's pretty awesome. We've got to call it a day, AP. Can you believe this?
Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. The sun's shining brightly now. It's come through the clouds. But Don, it was great. and thank you so much. And remember, 4 p.m. Central, IC Radio, AP and Kelly As We See It. We'll have another episode this week. And we thank you so much, Don. And we always enjoy entertaining the questions from your audience.
Absolutely. Send more, Donna.
Send more.
At donnasedge.com. Thank you, AP, and thank you for watching.
Thank you, Donna.
You have been at this for 12 years. Why are you doing it?
Because God's children are not for sale.
Rated PG-13.